Welcome to today's episode. I'm excited once again because we get to learn something new. In our Young and Single series, I have been touching on very sensitive topics that affect young ones. Today we have an interesting topic. If you are new to this channel, I would love for you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and each time there is a new video, you could get an alert. Okay, in case you have missed the earlier episodes, you could check out our YouTube channel, and very interesting topics have already been touched on. Today we want to talk about entitlement. This year, that topic has been very dear to me because as a youth counselor and a coach, I have been privileged to mentor many young ones. And in training young ones and helping them develop good careers and develop skills that are beneficial to their life and to their tomorrow, one thing stood out. Many young ones live an entitled life unconsciously. They actually have no idea they are living an entitled life. And this entitlement has a way of affecting everything they are doing. When we talk about entitlement, it means you believe inherently to be deserving of a privilege or a special treatment. Meaning, many young people live their lives believing that they deserve something. Let me draw your attention to this. When we are born, as babies, we are granted the privilege of having parents or guardians or caregivers for the first few years of our life. You find out that the parent takes care of you, feeds you, clothes you, pays for your school fees. You really have very little with respect to responsibility. All you have to do is wake up and there's food. Wake up and make an order. You have a dress. Wake up, pick your bags, go to school, and you are being taken care of. Over the years, as young ones grow, they get used to having things being done for them and things being given to them. And so gradually, they develop a sense of entitlement. It creeps in subtly. They feel they are entitled to life. And they grow up with this entitlement mentality from childhood all the way to their teenage years, young adult age, and then in the adult years. They just feel entitled to life. Think about it. You woke up and you slept. You slept and woke up this morning because you believe you'll be awake. Some rarely think about it. What would have happened if I didn't wake up? Why? It's a sign of entitlement. You just feel that you're entitled to it. See you tomorrow. Yes, it's a sign of entitlement. Some feel entitled to health, especially when you are young. Many young ones have the energy, they have freshness, they have health, usually at its best. And because of that, they take it for granted. They can eat all the wrong foods, they can eat all the junk foods, and quick digestion takes place because of exercise, because of brain activity, and then they are fine. Yet, few years later, you find out that this same person cannot eat A, B, C, D. Some feel entitled to wealth. Not their own wealth, but actually the wealth of their parents. And so there are children who are born into privileged homes and suddenly feel that their mother's money is theirs. Their father's money is theirs. They feel they deserve a certain type of clothes, a certain type of food, a certain type of bedding. And when parents have to tell the child at one point in time that I may not be able to provide A, B, C, D, the child gets angry, sometimes gets very, 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 very emotional, either throws a tantrum, either rebels, or goes into their shell. Why do we do that? Entitlement. And you are feeling entitled to what actually belongs to somebody. Have you thought about it? It is a very, very serious topic. I would love to share a story. There was a young boy who attended a community school. And in that school, They had made provision for the students to be given lunch. It means every afternoon, lunch was provided. This young boy's mother was not well to do. She could afford a meal a day, and they had a single room where the mother, the father, and 3 other siblings were living. He looked forward to the afternoon meals in school. He dare not miss any, because that was where he was sure that his afternoon energy will be drawn from. One particular day, he got to school and he had to do extra work, and it delayed. By the time it was lunchtime, he was still working on his assignment. He got to lunch 20 minutes later. Guess what happened? The food had finished. Everybody had been served, and he had arrived a little too late. He suddenly got very angry with the matrons. He talked to them in a very bad way. He was so disrespectful, and everybody was surprised. And they were wondering, because he had never displayed that side of his life. They were trying to calm him down and ask him to wait and share with the matron. He refused and insisted that how could they have given his food to another person. Suddenly, the teacher walked in and asked what was going on. When the story was told to her, she asked the boy quietly, "How much did you contribute for lunch?" He looked at her quietly and said nothing. She asked him again, "How much did you pay the matron to cook?" He looked at her quietly and said nothing. She asked him the third time, "How much did you contribute to get the bowls washed?" She looked at him and kept quiet. And finally she said, "How much did you contribute to get the food here?" He said nothing. And she asked him, "So why are you feeling so entitled to food that has graciously been offered to you for free?" The boy said, "Sorry. I am using this story to draw your attention to many things we feel entitled to. As parents, sometimes we feel entitled to our children. As children, we feel entitled to the attention of our parents, the money of our parents, the time of our parents, the wealth of our parents. As human beings, we feel entitled to life. We feel entitled to health. Let me tell you another story. A young boy was born to Christian parents. And you know the routine for every Christian parent. They send their children to church every Sunday. So this boy has been going to Sunday school. He knows how to recite his memory verses. He's very active. And after a couple of years, he was now a teenager. He had had his confirmation classes. Church was fun. But he went into a challenge which had become very difficult. He needed a scholarship and decided to pray. He prayed so hard. He actually fasted. He actually made a lot of confessions and declarations, found all the right scriptures, and justified why he believed he deserved the scholarship. Well, your guess is as good as mine. He didn't get the scholarship. And he got mad. He was mad with God. He said he was not going to go to church again. God had disappointed him. How could God be so unfair? He had spent all his life in church. And so after 2-3 months of not coming to church, his youth pastor decided to check on him. And he was on and on raving about how God had been so unfair to him. After all the time he had spent in church, how could God let him miss this scholarship? The youth pastor looked at him and smiled and asked him the question. The mother who gave birth and lost her child, has God been unfair to her? The young baby who never saw daylight, has God been unfair to him? The young teenager who lost her life, has God been unfair to her? What about the people who had accidents? Has God been unfair to them? A few questions were asked and made this boy think. The truth of the matter was this boy was feeling entitled. He felt by going to church regularly, once he prayed, he must get it. Because as a child, anything he asked his parents for, he gets it. So once he asked God for something, he must get it. So suddenly, entitlement found its way into his life, and he felt that he deserved things Forgetting that in life there are principles. There are things we need to do. There are opportunities that can come and others that may close. And others that we need to wait until we get. With these two tourists, what are some of the dangers of entitlement? We are talking about entitlement if you are just joining us. Ingratitude. People who are entitled are rarely grateful. They rarely say thank you. Why? They are never satisfied. They always feel they deserve more. They always feel they have a better opportunity because there's this sense of I deserve something. And so nothing actually pleases them. You give them $10, they wish they had 100. They get an uncle to pay their school fees in a public school and they are angry why he didn't send them to a private school. And if he sent them to a private school, they are actually mad he didn't send them to Europe. People budget with people's monies. Can you imagine? She's actually budgeting her whole school with her uncle's money. That's entitlement. And it's a very dangerous one. Pride sets in. One danger of entitlement is proud. A proud man is never satisfied. You feel some urge of things that you feel you really deserve. Greed. Greed. Become greedy. They want more. They want more. They want more. Look at greed and how destructive it is. They want, and they kill to get. Come to think of it, how many birds can you learn? How many shoes can you wear? How many clothes do you have? You open certain people's wardrobes and the clothes are spilling out. The wardrobes can't be closed because every Sunday they need a new dress and every outing they need a new shoe. They need something new, especially ladies. And even for young men, you find out that they have the latest branded canvas, they have the latest loafers, they have the shoes, they have the shades, they have the t-shirts. And sometimes when they have to go out, it actually now becomes a headache. Which one are we going to wear? What are we going to do? Greed. Another danger of entitlement is superiority attitude. You have this sense of superiority. The child who went to the public school is not as important as you who went to the private school. You have a sense of, well, I have a very sad story of a young boy who looked at a bus driver and says, we have a better future than you. And he said that because his parents were well-to-do and the bus driver was doing his job of driving them to school. That's entitlement. Can you imagine? He's actually boasting with money that is not his. Superiority attitude. We also fail to recognize God or His acts. Count your blessings that you are alive, that you can walk, that you can talk, that you can eat. Some people cannot eat, some cannot sleep. I watched a man in coma being fed with tubes every day. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't eat, he couldn't do anything. And I was like, wow, the blessings we have each day we never count. We fail to recognize the things God does. We fail to appreciate our helpers. How often do children walk to their parents and say, Mommy, thank you. Mommy, I really appreciate everything you have done for me. You cook for me, you clean, you wash, you counsel me. Rarely. We actually are angry with our mom. Well, she should have done this, she should have worked better, she should have given me better opportunities, she should have. Can you imagine? I'm sure you understand what I mean by all that I just said. The things we are never grateful for. The house helps, the drivers who take us to school, the house helps who help clean our clothes. Have you washed my dress? Have you finished the food? What's wrong with you? Yet when these house helps leave, these jobs cannot be done by many of us. Also, when you feel entitled, you fail to take out opportunities that come your way. There was a young girl who got an advantage to go to a tertiary institution. It was a polytechnic. But all her life she had dreamt of going to the university outside. When she got admission to the polytechnic, she refused to go to the polytechnic because to her it was below her level. Her friends were all going to school in Europe. And so she refused. She wrote her A-levels again. She still didn't do well. So for 3 years, she refused to go to the polytechnic and her mates were moving ahead of her. When she finally realized that time was going and she agreed to go to her polytechnic, she lost her parents. Now that money to even send her to the polytechnic was no longer hers. Why did she lose that? Because she didn't take advantage when she had to because of entitlement. She felt she deserved a better opportunity. What should you do to avoid entitlement? Sit down and think. Think of the opportunities and the advantages God has given to you every day. Thinking is one of the major things that helps us to recognize. Learn to value things people do for you. Think about it. If you were the one paying school fees for yourself, you'll be more grateful and more appreciative. Ask the adult learner. I did a course not too long, and having to work, find money, pay my own school fees, study myself, I was like, oh my God, I should have taken advantage when I was younger. Learn to appreciate things, put yourself in people's shoes, value the things that you have. It will make you more grateful. And then remember, most importantly, you were created by God, and He created you for a purpose. Psalm 104 verse 24, God says, if I were hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine and all that is in it is mine. Meaning, you and I belong to God. Everything in this world belongs to us. So whenever we say, oh, this is mine, it is my intelligence, my career, my degree, my job, my car, truthfully, we are lying. Everything we saw, we met. And everything we met, we will leave one day. So you and I have no right to feel entitled to anything we have met. It's just a privilege. God gave you intelligence, thank Him. God gave you parents, thank Him. The rich, the poor, thank Him. The weak, the sick, thank Him. You are who you are because God gave you a chance to exist. My dear listener, I believe today's lesson has been also very impactful. I would love to hear your feedback, and I would love to hear what you are doing to overcome entitlement. Finally, I would want to admonish you. As a pastor, I want to challenge you. In case you reflect and find out that entitlement has crept into your life, repent. Bow down your heads and tell the Lord, Father, I'm sorry. I felt entitled to life. I felt entitled to my parents. I felt entitled to better opportunities I didn't get. Forgive me. Now that I value the things you have already done, help me to be able to accept what I have and give me grace to be able to receive better things. When you make this prayer sincerely, the Lord will forgive you. And when He does, He'll give you the opportunities. You don't deserve anything. All that you get is what God privileges you to get. I've enjoyed talking to you once again. And as usual, my name is Hannah. I'm a youth counselor. I'm a destiny coach. I'm a geologist and an environmentalist. Yes, that's what I studied and trained in. But what I do best is helping young ones become better people. I would want you to like this video in case it has blessed you. Leave a comment. You can actually put in questions. You could hit me up privately. You could also subscribe and share this video with many young ones for them to be blessed. Thank you.